Hey guys, so Jay here from Laser Gaming. This video I want to tell you how to improve your kill-death ratio in Battlefield 1. Now a lot of this is basic stuff that most of you will do, but I'm assuming if you are wondering how to improve your KD, you probably don't have the best KD in the world. So hopefully these tips will help you out. Some of them are pretty specific, some of them are very broad. But let's get right into the first one. So this one's pretty obvious, but I see a lot of people not worrying about this a lot, and it's specifically head glitching, but it's more just making sure you're always behind cover or near cover. You don't want to be getting too far out into the open without any cover near you, because if you start getting shot, you're going to want to be able to dive behind that cover so you don't die. And you're going to want to wait there until your health regens, and you want to make sure it's a good piece of cover. And when you're shooting, you might even want to just peek around that cover, maybe just make sure that a majority of your body's covered so that you don't get hit or you're not as easy of a target. Now, the only exception to this is if you're being shot by a sniper. In this situation, you're probably just going to want to bolt and zigzag and do whatever you can to make it as hard as possible for them to hit you. But in every other situation, you're just going to want to head glitch, get behind cover, because once you start suppressing the enemy, it's going to make it very hard for them to hit you because the idle sway that comes when you start suppressing an enemy. Now the next tip is guns that suit a situation. So in Battlefield 1, more so than any other Battlefield game, you can only use weapons in certain situations. So the assault class is almost exclusively up close, and the snipers are almost exclusively at range. It's really hard for the assault class to play far at range, or for the sniper class to play up close. So you're really going to want to cater towards these specific gunfights that ensue with these certain weapons. So with assault, you're not going to want to spawn at the back of the map. You're going to want to spawn in the action where you can take on enemies up close so that you can easily use your gun to the best of its ability. And with sniper rifles, you're going to want to step a bit back. Don't get up close because you're going to get demolished by the assault class, other classes like that. The same thing suits for the medic class. The only thing, the support class, all the guns are pretty crap. So I don't really know what to tell you with that class, but I have a tip with the class gadgets for that one. So hopefully you'll be able to still use the support class if you do enjoy it, but use the gun the way it's meant to be used. Don't try to use it at long range unless you have to, unless you're in the middle of a field, can't get to any cover, and an enemy's shooting at you. That's when you're going to have to try to improvise and get out of your comfort zone. But other than that, you're going to want to cater towards how your gun's meant to be used. The next one that goes hand in hand with this is don't use crappy guns. So there are many guns in this game that are just absolute trash. Some of them being in the medic class, like the tier 10 medic weapon, which only has like 5 bullets in the magazine. Complete trash. I mean, some of the snipers are garbage as well. Some of the pistols are crap. I mean, and some of the shotguns are just abysmal. Just don't use bad weapons in this game. I mean, obviously I play around with them sometimes also, just for fun because it's something new and interesting. And since there aren't that many guns in the game, I want to be able to use all the weapons. But don't use them if you're trying to improve your KD, or if you start dying a lot, maybe switch off a bit, because your KD is going to start to drop quite a bit if you're using these bad weapons a lot. The next thing that can get you an immense amount of kills are grenades. You're going to always want to use your grenade every single life, and this extends to the assault class with the anti-tank grenades. Even if you don't see a tank, just throw these at enemies. Try to use them as much as possible, because these are just absolutely amazing for taking out infantry, surprisingly. And if you throw them, for example, onto the bunker at Monte Grappa, you can just destroy the enemies inside there and get a ton of kills. And it's something that I don't see very many people using, and I'd recommend it just to get those extra kills. Now, to take it a step further from the anti-tank mine, you're going to want to be using your class gadgets as much as you can. So the AT rocket you can see in some of these clips I've been using to take out enemies at long range. And when you have a submachine gun equipped, it's really hard to hit those enemies at range, but this sword compensates for that. And this is true for many of the weapons. For the sniper class, you have the flare gun that makes it easy to kill enemies up close because you know where they're going to be. With the medic class, you have the ability to use your grenade launcher to take out some enemies if you are not running a revive syringe. And for the support class, this is the most important one. If you're support, every single time you spawn, what you're going to want to do is use those mortars. And now, I know I hate them. I don't use the support class. I'm not even rank 1 on support yet, and I hate the mortar. But if you want to improve your KD it's essentially you use this with a support class because they're giving you something that's clearly overpowered, clearly better than any other gadget in the game for getting kills, and if you're not using it, you're really just putting yourself at a disadvantage when compared to all the other people who are using this class. Now, something else I want to talk about is sensitivity. Now, a lot of my friends who are new to the Battlefield franchise didn't even know that you could change your sensitivity. So you just go under options and then controls and you can adjust your sensitivity. I personally play 72 sensitivity and then 52 soldier zoom sensitivity. This is so I can turn around really quick with 72, but once I aim down sights, my sensitivity is only like 36, so that I'm able to move on to those targets pretty quickly and not have a crazy high sensitivity. But I mean, just play around with sensitivity. There's no right sensitivity to use. I just like using a high one because there's an enemy behind me. I can turn around on him. I can hit as many targets as possible. And I feel that for me, that improves my KD. It might not be the same for you, but nonetheless, I'd recommend just checking out the sensitivity and playing around with it a little. Now, the last part is avoid vehicles. Now, vehicles, as you can see right here, they can F you up pretty bad if you're not getting out of the way. I mean, I here just for fun tried to take one out with my submachine gun. That doesn't work. You're going to get demolished. But in another situation, I just sort of stealthily smoothed around that vehicle.